Hi, Year 5. This is the art lesson for Monday. Today it says we're going to be recreating our very own Monet. Now, before we can actually start colouring, painting and all that, those type of things, we're going to have to sketch it out first. Okay, so today's lesson is all about just sketching lightly, using a pencil, just to get the basic lines in ready for your painting or your drawing that you'll be colouring. Now, if you haven't got paints, it's totally fine. You can do it by using coloured pencils. You can also do it by just shading, just using a normal HB pencil. Okay, I'm going to be using a couple of different pencils today. I've got a HB, I've also got a 4B, and I've also got an 8B. Now the 8B pencil that I'm using is quite dark, okay? It will leave quite dark lines, so I only need to very lightly use that. The main one that I'm going to be using, which everybody should have, hopefully, is a HB pencil. Okay, now the reason this one is because it's the most versatile pencil that you can use. Okay, it can get quite hard lines, but you can also use it very softly to get very light lines, and that's one of the main things we're going to be looking at today. Okay, always make sure it's sharp. Okay, so sharpen your pencil. Make sure you've got a nice sharp pencil, because that'll make it far easier. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn this paper this way. Okay, you don't need to do it in a book. A plain piece of paper will do. Some papers are better than others. If you've got a kind of thicker paper like I've got, watercolors work really well on it. If you've got a plain paper that you get is normally put into a printer, that's fine too. Okay, what you'll find with that is that if you are painting, you want to use your paints quite dry. You don't make them too wet. Okay, now obviously, like I said, we're not using paints today though. Okay, now what we're going to do, if you've got a garden to look out at, that would be great, because Monet used very colourful green pictures. Now a garden is perfect for that. If you've not, you can always just look out your window and look at the buildings around, because obviously there's lots of different structures you can be looking at. Preferably try to get one with some greenery, like a tree in there or a bush in there, okay, or some grass. Okay, now I've got a picture here of what I'm going to be using, because I've not actually got anything to look at, and you could do this as well. If you need to look at something of the garden and you haven't got one but you'd like to have one, go online, find a picture, and you can get something like this. Now this is what I'm going to try and recreate today. Okay, so I'm just going to put it in front of me. Okay, and the reason why I'm going to put it in front of me is so I'm always looking at it. If it's at the side, it might be harder for me to look at. So just put it just above your piece of paper, and that always works great. Okay, now we've got some perspective in here with the little bridge that's across the water here. Obviously some of the lines as well, and then we've got some structures in the back as well that we can use. Okay, now very quickly what I'm going to do is just sketch out those various things. Okay, I know that this bit of the bridge is about here, so I'm just going to quickly draw those in. Now I'm only doing it very lightly. It should only just appear on the video. Okay, and that's how light I want you to do it. Now, because I can make a mistake here and it doesn't matter, I don't like to use the rubber, just because I think if you're using a rubber, it gives you that option to draw a bit harder and make those mistakes. Okay, well, just have a play with it and see what happens. Okay, now I know these lines come off, so I'm going to be moving them across, just putting those in again very lightly. Doesn't matter if they're not completely straight, because Monet's pictures are very fluid in what they look as well. They're always very much unfinished. Okay, so put those in. There we go. And then just the top of there we go. Okay, again, putting that in. Now, when I'm doing this, I'm going to just make sure these brickwork here look like they're 3D. So I'm just going to put my lines, following the lines at what angle they're at, and then straight down. Always remember, your vertical lines are always straight. Doesn't matter whereabouts you're looking, there'll always be the straight lines. Okay. Now, I've got those in, okay? So I've got my little bridge. I've not put too much detail. I'm just sketching that. Now, I've got some reeds here that I can put in. Now, these are very light. So I'm literally just going to put the outside and a couple of tall ones. But I want these as light as possible because I don't really want to see them later on. Okay? Again, very light. Now, this one actually has 4 on there, but the way I've drawn my picture, I can only fit 3. So I'm not going to squash one in. I'm just going to keep those 3 big and just have it to actually here. So my tree will just be in the outside here. So I'm going to bring this tree down. Now, my tree doesn't come all the way down. It comes to about here. Now, I actually came a bit too far, but that doesn't matter. So I'm just going to come up and round. And put my tree in there. Again, very light putting it in. Now, I'm not doing all of the tree, I'm just doing bits, I'm just getting them in. Okay, this is not about getting a finished picture, this is just about positioning things. Okay, so next I've got these balls in behind, the balls are very round bushes. Okay, and just got another one around here, again, just putting them in, some curvatures. And the garden coming back. Again, trying to keep that perspective. Got another chair at the back up there. Again, just quickly just drawing them in. We get grass coming across. There we go. And we've got a fence behind. Now the fence comes to we've got some posts and we've got the fence comes to about there. And then, as you can see, the line coming down here, this line is downwards. But this one, because of our perspective, is pointing upwards. So this one is actually going to come up here like this. Okay? So there's my perspective lines, there's my fence. Again, I'm just quickly drawing them in. I'm not taking too much care over those different sizes exactly. I'm just going to try and get them in as best as I can. Again, and then some reeds. Now, again, I might only fit one reed in there, but no, actually, I'll fit another one in. This one's quite a tall one, so I'll make that quite tall. In the background, I've also got the shed, so I'm just going to put my shed in. Again, just follow the lines. Don't think what a shed looks like. Think about what the lines look like. And that's the best way to do any drawing like this. Because sometimes you'll think, oh, a shed's square, I'm going to do a square shed. Well, actually, this the angles on this wouldn't make it look square. Okay? And you just keep going through, keep doing this until you've got all your detail. Don't put too much darkness into it. You want to keep it as light as possible. All we're doing today is just positioning everything ready for our lesson on Wednesday. Okay, on Wednesday we'll be adding more detail, adding a bit of colour, and just trying to recreate our own. Okay, so at the moment, don't worry about too much about getting too much detail in there. Okay, we'll wait until Wednesday for that one. Okay, so keep going, do your best, and I can't wait to see what you come up with. See you later, guys.